Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, HittnerGroup.com, Hittner Group, all one word, HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. Be happy to have a chat with you about your real estate needs, all with no cost and absolutely no obligation, HittnerGroup.com. Okay, so here's the big rundown, kids. Real estate after Easter, rolling into the season. Active listings on the market, 7-county metropolitan area, 5,170, about 5,175 homes on the market. A year ago it was 4,077, so that's a nice, 1,000, almost 1,100 unit increase. Nice new selection, more selection to choose from. New solds that came off the market this last week, 859. That's about exactly the same as a year ago. That's interesting. So more homes coming on the market, about the same number of homes rolling off the market. But I don't think it was Easter last year.
It was a little bit, yeah. It's always
Easter was earlier.
Moved around a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
I think Easter was later last year. So that's
later. Okay.
so that's actually good news because we had Easter week, which is
and we matched up to a non-holiday
week. So that's pretty good news. Days on market seem to be stable, at about a month and a half of inventory, to 2 months of inventory for existing homes.
Any price point on that shift or not?
No,
like
I don't.
Bigger homes take
longer.
longer.
I didn't break it
Normal?
down.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're looking in the sweet spot, it's going to be a challenge. There's no question. The existing inventory that's available right now is, I think it's tough in all popular communities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have another one. We were talking at coffee earlier about what was going on in Stillwater this past weekend, but Woodbury, we're looking through, 350 to 500, and you can sniff new construction at 499, but it's an 800 square foot foundation, 2-story,
or
pretty
a split.
small, 1,900 to 2,000 square feet above grade 2-story. The bedrooms are, 9 by 10s and the existing inventory 450 to 500. Super challenging. Tons of competition. Woodbury has 3 homes that are available.
Really?
Yeah, in that price point, like 4 to 500. There's just nothing there.
Wow.
So, that's just an example. Another one, we're looking at Rosemount too and seeing a lot of the same things. Rosemount, Apple Valley. You got something that's probably coming on in that area, townhouse, but they'll still be hot.
Yeah, they'll be hot, but there's a few townhomes.
It's that price
in there.
point.
Yeah.
That 3 to 500 is a challenge. Yeah. It really is.
No matter what it is. And then you get into the townhomes, you think, well, I'll just have to, I can't get into my single-family existing home, so I'll buy a townhome.
Right.
3-bedroom, 3-bath townhome, if you can find one. It's still going to be, $300,000, and then plus you
plus
got
an
the dues.
association dues.
Plus the association dues is no cheaper.
Right. No. Not at all.
It's no cheaper than buying an existing home, but at least there's some available. And then Eagan you've got different communities that are all different. Some,
right.
In Burnsville you might be able to find something. In Chaska, forget about it. In Eagan, forget about it. Really anything under, if you're looking anything under 350, forget it. I mean,
Aren't there some I thought in Eagan there's some townhomes, condos that are.
I'm talking single family.
Single family homes. Okay.
Yeah, anything under, really 400.
Basic splits 4 1/4.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So, but the market is good. Interest rates don't seem to be hurting anything. Calvin will talk about more of that in the fourth segment.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with the gentleman I don't even know what day it is, a couple days ago. And interest rates were a big problem, I think, in fall of last year. We saw an immediate kind of shock to this,
Don't you think it was just a shock?
It was just immediate shock, and they were high. I mean, we're pushing 9%.
Yeah. We're in low 8s to 9 if you were banged up.
Yeah. So, I mean, depending on where your credit is, we're right in that 8% range, and you got a generation of home buyers that haven't experienced anything over 4, and so they're like double that or more. And there was a bit of a pullback. Houses were lagging. Time of year 2 slowed things down. We actually took houses off the market. At least I did. I took houses off the market, before we normally would have with the holidays.
Yeah.
And just gave them a rest because they weren't moving. We weren't getting activity. And then after the first of the year, it ended up putting them back on the market and sold the properties for the same price we had them on. We didn't do any price reductions. It was just a matter of the market kind of catching up with where interest rates were going. And then the activity of, after the holidays really helped. And
that lock-in effect is real, though. I had a call this week from a gal who's they're getting a divorce, and she has a 1.5% interest rate on her house. 1.5%. She said,
15 year.
She's keeping it. She said, I
Yeah.
got to keep it. And so she said, he'll just sign a quitclaim deed over. I said, well, that doesn't work.
Solve the problem.
That doesn't work. His name is still on. Unless he's an idiot, he's going to want to get his name off that mortgage so he can go buy something else. She was just like, oh no, they have to work something out on that deal.
Don't you have a way around that though?
No.
With the divorce decree?
No.
And responsibility of payment?
No. He's the guy.
I think you can assume though that with the lender themselves. So, going through everything I've gone through over the last year and a half, there is an assumption there with a divorce situation or loss of a spouse where you can just assume it, so long as she qualifies, of course. She has to qualify, but.
Well, do you think that the mortgage? How likely do you think that the mortgage company is going to let that happen when the interest rate's 1.5%?
Well, it's in the note. I mean, it's part of the.
No.
It'd be interesting. I'll do a little.
I just did another one like that in
know
Rosemont. Same exact situation. This was a VA loan, and same thing. She wanted to stay in the house. They had a 2.5% interest rate, and she had to refi.
Maybe it's just the loss of a spouse scenario that it's okay.
Could be. Yeah,
Like,
she had to refi.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
There you go.
So, all right. So then the question is,
moving on from that topic.
where is it's
Here's the
real?
don't get divorced.
It's real because
Don't get divorced.
Don't get divorced.
50% of the population.
Yeah.
Stop
And
it.
if you are thinking of getting it, of course, 612-627-8000 is the number to call.
Probably going to need to handle some real estate business. Yep. We'd love to talk to you. And that's a lot of it, right? We've talked a lot about that. It's a lot of, deaths, divorces, births, relocations. That's kind of the nature.
It's the need-driven. I love it
right now.
To be honest with you, I just absolutely love it, and all the turmoil that's going on with the lawsuits and all that stuff. The settlements and the change of this, change of that. I think it's all fantastic because it forces people to actually do the work. Have the conversation with their clients. Determine on what they're going to do. Sit down with them like we used to do years ago. Have them come into the office, sit down, talk through the process. This is how it works. It isn't just a Zillow lead, and you're meeting somebody out. Susie Q is going to meet Wally and Gina out at the house.
You didn't like selling a house,
turn the key in
and
the
then
door.
having them laterally moved and get the same mortgage payment and buy $300,000 more and overall.
Well, that was super duper, but that's an interest rate.
That was pretty cool.
That's an interest rate conversation, though. It isn't about.
You hated all that activity?
Because there's still consultation that goes on in
Yeah.
that scenario. No different.
Yeah.
Different.
Tell you what, there wasn't much consultation going on in a lot of those things. So you got 43 offers on a house. It's just a matter of who can throw the most money on the table.
I don't know. That in and of itself provides a lot of
when to walk away.
Well, it's a lot of work to go through all of those offers, determining which one's going to work
on
and
a
which
listing
one's
site.
not.
From a listing site, yeah. I'm just saying from the buyer's side.
Well, the tactical side on the buyer's side to try to win in a multiple offer situation, which we just did. There was 8 offers on a property that I had just 2 days ago. That's exciting. That's fun.
Oh, it's all fun. Yeah, the whole thing is
You
fun.
just like the chaos.
And it's not
of
just
everything.
throw the most money at it because you'll have an appraisal issue.
Yeah.
We don't have the same ramping of value right now that we had at that time. So things are slower. You're still in multiple offer situations because you have an inventory issue. So you have to be more tactical in, here's our ceiling, right? Like here's the range because we don't have the extra money because the interest rates are 8% or 7 or 6.5 or whatever you can get right now.
I wonder if you're going to see gap coverage clauses going away.
We were competing against them. I mean, there was still a lot of that was still happening.
Because it's when you're the appraisal's easy, it's you can be bold and put down. Oh
she's gonna appraise, no
yeah,
problem.
Yeah, but
now when it's like you might really have to pony up on that.
You might have to. Yeah, that's a
I
whole
don't want to
nother
see
thing.
that bank account statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where's the cash coming from?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
All
speaking of cash, we got a couple seconds here. Speaking of cash, a lot more cash transactions when the interest rate environment is what it is, either borrowing from grandma and grandpa or digging into their 401k or whatever that might be. This year, I've worked with a bunch of cash buyers. So
Tease Fieldstone.
Huh?
Tease a Fieldstone.
Yeah, we have Patty Zusick, right? And Trent, what's your last name?
Trent Johnson.
Trent Johnson, that's an easy one. From Fieldstone Family Homes, right? And we'll be right back after these messages. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Log on to our website, hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com, or give us a call, as always, on the phone. That works, too. 612-627-8000. That number again is 612-627-8000. And we'll be right back.
Hey there, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. HittnerGroup.com, HITTNER Group.com, 612-627-8000. If you want to get a nice new home, 612-627-8000. We have Trent Johnson in the studio with Patty Zuzak at Fieldstone Family Homes. And we've been, over the last few weeks, been chatting with builders because that's the savior, if you will, of our inventory problem. We have to build out of it because there just isn't enough houses on the market. People are coming in. We have people moving to the area. Homes get obsolete, and we need to build new. So Fieldstone Family Homes, I want to just talk a little bit, share about your history, where you grew up in the building business, right?
Yes, we did. Fieldstone Family Homes is a company that is myself and my two brothers. We started Fieldstone in 2008, right around April, right now.
Yep. Good timing.
We came together, right? We came together, and like you said, our father and mother were both in the industry.
Right.
Our mother was a broker since '71. Our father had a building background since '77. We came together all from different backgrounds. I had one brother who was in the financial industry, stockbroker, venture capitalist. Another brother who was working actively in the industry, as well as myself, in some different companies. We came together and decided we wanted to start a construction company. And as you know, the market, the environment for builders in 2008 was not
that great,
thriving,
Yeah, it was
to say the least.
Coming off a little bit of a gut punch.
It was coming off of, I think, the biggest gut punch we've ever been involved in.
Right.
So we started small. We got one development out in Shakopee, pulled together some financing, some private financing, built a model. We had all of our agents working out of that one location. We were open from
Where was that?
in Shakopee.
In Shakopee.
So we were right across from the high school over there,
Oh, really?
where it was a big field of empty lots. We put the house in the ground. We had agents working there from 9 in the morning till 9 at night,
Love it.
double shifting. We had the house lit up
Like a
at
Christmas
nighttime
tree.
like a Christmas tree, and people were coming in all hours of the day. We were just kind of scratching deals together and building just just four of us in the company. We grew organically, and I would say, the first year we probably did 4. Next year we did 25, and then 40, and then 60. We've stayed right in that 60 to 100 range ever since then. Our goal from day one was not to be the biggest. That's not our goal. Our goal is to be the best. Deliver each home to the family exactly the way they want it.
Do you have a you say you want to stay in that area then?
Yep.
So you have a calendar when you schedule out that calendar, and when you're full, and you just say, we can't build anymore this year?
I wish it was that easy, yes. If I could just even flow construction out and build, one every
perfect.
3 days, it would be absolutely perfect.
I would like that too.
That's exactly how it is.
Sell a house every 5 days or so. It'd be perfect.
But if, as you know, the spring market, especially for builders, we have 2 parade of homes. We're coming up on the last weekend of the current parade of homes, and the spring market is definitely our Super Bowl for the year. The fall market is great. It's there. We get some tire kickers, a lot of traffic,
Yeah.
but The deals we're going to convert, we meet 70% of those people in this parade of homes.
Okay.
And then convert them throughout the year. So all hands on deck. We have to be
What's
ready,
your cycle
ready to
then?
sell.
What's your build time?
From dig to move in, we're back to down to 120 days.
Okay.
That was extended a little bit when we had the COVID problems with the supply chain.
Yep. Have those issues kind of resolved themselves?
They have definitely.
Yeah.
Interest rates fixed that problem for
fix
us.
it real
Yeah.
quick.
It was someone else's fault.
With a little bit of a slowdown, it actually everything caught up. We're pretty
Nicely.
well back to.
How about with
contract.
pricing, though? Do you see from, we had obviously a spike in material pricing.
Yeah.
Have you seen some pullback in certain types of materials, or are things just kind of like, oh, well, this is the new pricing category? There's no going back.
It matters what materials you're talking about. We had some aggressive increases during that time of the early stages of COVID with windows and cabinets and the bigger companies not being able to fulfill orders and just increasing prices to try to capitalize on that, slow down maybe the production that they weren't able to meet at that time. Those are definitely starting to come down. We did, find some new relationships in that time, which have worked out really well. And every day we're out purchasing, looking for new stuff, trying to find the latest and greatest, and also making sure we're buying the best we can so we can pass that value on.
I kind of like to talk about the product itself now.
Okay.
I'd like to know the difference because when you go into a development, are your developments, are they exclusive, or do you share with other builders, or how do you find land and how do you find places to build? First of all,
I would say we have a good mix of both.
okay.
We have some builders that we work really well with, and we'll go in and split a development or find a piece of land that we want to where we want to build. We'll bring in a developer partner. Ask them to turn the dirt,
Okay.
and then we'll purchase lots back from them.
Okay, so you don't do the development yourself?
Sometimes.
Oh.
Smaller pieces that fit for our portfolio,
Okay.
yes, we will. But most of the time, we'll bring in a developer partner, and we use our resources.
What does that mean? Just because you guys all know this real good, what's a development partner mean? What does that mean? You said
Someone
turn
who-
the dirt. What does that
Someone we know in the industry who specializes in development.
Okay.
We'll bring them in.
And
we'll
they do
tell
the
them this is
roads,
where,
curbs.
this
Yeah.
is where
Okay.
we'd love to build on this piece of land. What can you deliver lots for us? To us
Okay.
for us. So at that point, then we'll strike a deal with a takedown. If we need to, we'll bring in another builder to fill out their timeline. We'll just kind of put the deal together.
How fast you want to turn that development over? I mean, because you got carrying costs in there, so you all that's built into the price of the lot, and so you don't want to be stuck someplace for 4 years, thinking that you're going to get out in 2, because then you got pricing issues.
Right. If we only had that crystal ball as well.
Okay.
You figure out what you think the absorption rate is. You back into it.
Okay.
You look at the land price. You have to figure out what's selling currently. No different than when you guys are going to list a house. What can we deliver product for in this zip code? And does it make sense with the price of the land and the price of the structure? Can we be competitive in that sweet spot? So it's really backing into the market, making sure we can put something out there that will be appealing and
That
will
makes
sell.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when you go, say you partner up with some builders that you have a relationship with, and you say, okay, guys, let's go in here. We've got 500 lots in here, and we got to split these up. How do you? Everybody's got their own style, and their own floor plans and stuff. But let's face it, they're pretty similar. When you got a 4-bedroom up 2-story, I mean, there's only so much you can do with it when you're constricted to a particular lot size and covenants and all of that stuff. How do you differentiate yourself then between you and another builder? Do you say, look, you guys build this price point, we're going to stay here, or it's just a slug match?
Well, I think that's one thing we pride ourselves on is the design. We have designers on staff. Myself, my 2 brothers, we work really closely with them, and we do believe that we have a design for every lot size that's going to sell. So we focus on our product. We're always have one eye over across the street to make sure that we're still in the market with that, just like you do with the listing, of course. But we focus on our design. We focus on the quality of people we have sitting in those homes. The amount of new construction knowledge that we have on our sales staff is off the charts.
Okay.
Guys that have been in the industry, gals that have been in the industry whether drawing on the CAD systems or framing or roofing or being remodelers, things like that. We have a ton of years of experience there.
Tell me a little bit about how your product has evolved over the years, because you start out, you're building a split entry house or a small 2-story or whatever it is. Now you're building $1.5 million homes. Talk through a little bit in the last couple of minutes of this segment how that evolved.
So, first of all, my quick answer to that is they've gotten narrower.
Okay.
All of our designs have gotten narrower, and that's because of the cost of land. Lots have to get narrower as the land price goes up and the fees.
So you're literally getting more lots per development is what the goal is.
You have
right?
to pencil it out to make the deal work. So they're getting narrower. But the long answer to that would be we pride ourselves on great design from $400,000 in the South Metro all the way up to $4 million on say Prior Lake or in Lakeville out on acreage, things like that. So we do the whole gamut of price ranges.
Do you find that the soups then that you have special job soups that run the bigger ones, and then you have other soups that will do the more production style?
No, I think all of our guys are top notch.
Oh, good.
One of my brothers manages that entire part of the company, and he's as good as it gets. So I think,
plus he scares him when he goes out there. He looks like he's going to kill you.
Well, Fieldstone Family Homes, certainly a family business for sure, building homes in the South Metro and then on the outskirts as well, right? Infill lots,
yes,
lake homes,
absolutely.
things like that. You can find them at fieldstonefamilyhomes.com. Patty and Trent are in studio. They're going to stick with us the next segment, so we'll talk more. Maybe Patty can get a word in edgewise when we return here. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk, 612-627-8000, HittnerGroup.com.
Hey, thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. We're in studio with Trent Johnson and Patty Zuzak, Fieldstone Family Homes. Okay, 3 owners. I just got to ask you this, because when I look at the website, you look like 3 really different personalities.
Same question.
Keith and I, we've been partners for years, and father, son, he brings a younger flair to a different perspective, let's just say, to the thing. But our underlining, thing I think is pretty much in line with one another. How does it work with you? How do you divide the labor, and how do you deal with 3 brothers with different personalities?
That's a good question.
You haven't figured that out
No,
yet?
people always
go ahead.
People always ask us how do you work with your family, and to me it's second nature.
Yeah.
We were raised in a really tight family. Our mom and dad did a fantastic job of keeping us close, reminding us that family's always there for you no matter what. And we are 100% 3 different personalities. But that, I think, helps us. We all have our own, we call it our own lanes.
What are the lanes? I'm curious. It's funny, I had the same question written down.
Give me 5.
Right there.
We have
We're line 2. I'm not.
I would say we each have our own strengths, and Brian, of course, who you said's mad all the time. He's out on the site. He's managing that construction process. After we close on the lot and we get ready to dig, him and his team are 100% taking that product to the closing day. Troy does the finance, so his backstory was in venture capitalism, and he was a stockbroker. Myself, I deal with Patty here and the sales team a lot, all of the pricing, office staff, that kind of.
And your sales staff has grown so much.
Patty's done a fantastic job of growing that portion, yes.
Talk about that, Patty.
Well, when I started, we had very few people there as sales staff, and we've tripled in size since I've been there, 5 years. And, it's not about just putting a pulse in the seat. It's about putting the right pulse in the seat. I'd rather have quality people than a quantity of people. And make sure that we're all on the same page, that we all get along, we work well together. And they do. They work very, very well together. Yes, they might have competitive advantages towards one another, but what's really great is when they want to sit down and plan a new home. They do that, and it's really fun to see them do that. And they coach other agents that are coming into the business, into the new construction world, which is a little bit different than selling the existing homes. But we also are a hybrid of a company where we have the new construction, but we also have the ability to sell existing homes too, which a
really?
lot of
Okay.
builders don't do that.
Right.
And our agents get to also cross-sell into other developments. So if they're sitting in our Eden Prairie development and that product doesn't fit the consumer that comes in, they can cross-sell into Faribault, Dundas, Prescott, wherever it might be, to help their client get what is needed.
Have you found that a good tool for recruiting then?
It has been a fantastic tool for recruiting. It really opens up the perspective of the agents, especially in today's market, when people are going, oh my gosh, I don't have a listing. Well, come on over. You can act as if any of our listings are yours.
Right.
You can market them, you can sit in them, you can sell them, you can do what you need to do to act as if they're yours.
How many active listings do you have at a time, or active homes that you can have realtors sit
Like
in?
ready to use,
Yeah.
ready to sell homes.
Well, we have developments that we have storefronts in.
Right.
So right now we have 9 of them in the parade of homes, but we have 12 of them that are actively going. As we end a development, we may not be in the parade of homes, but we still sit those homes,
Right.
and we still have them staged in models as a storefront.
Okay.
The highest we've had were 18 developments at one time where we had them in the parade of homes, and that is a fun thing to orchestrate.
Right.
And make sure
Sounds
that people
crazy.
cover it, and
Yeah, and the staffing can be
the
challenging,
staffing can
especially
be-
during
Wow.
the parade.
well, and during COVID, it was really a problem because somebody got COVID, and then quick we had to shift and fill it, to make sure that people were there on site. So it
So do
it
you
is
have
fun
those
though.
models staffed every day, or how?
7 days a week.
7 days a week, somebody's in the place.
Yep, 7
Wow.
days a week.
Good for you guys.
Noon
Good
to
job, man.
6.
Wow, that's great.
Noon to 6.
Noon to 6.
Interesting.
Do you expand in the summertime then when you have daylight hours that go a little bit later?
Sometimes some of our agents and some of our marketplaces, the agents really know the marketplace. For instance, Prescott, Wisconsin. Our agent shows up there at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning on a weekend. And their busy time is 9 until about 2. So it really depends upon the market. We found that Faribault is very similar to that. Dundas is very similar to that. So it really depends upon the marketplace, and they have the ability, as long as they can share with us what those
What's going on,
hours,
sure.
what's going on, and why they're doing it.
Yeah. You want to be efficient with the time too. It's like, well, most people are wanting to come 9 to noon, and you're there noon to 6. It makes no sense.
Right. And I think it's kind of interesting because in existing home business, agents do 2-hour windows
Yeah.
for open houses,
Right.
and it's like, well, that's a gamble. Let's roll the dice and see when people are
Which
going to
2
come.
hours,
Yeah,
yeah.
which 2 hours
Yeah.
are going to be the,
Yeah.
the
Well, when
market.
What's the name of your real estate company? Is it Fieldstone Homes? That's
It's-
everybody, or your brokerage, or how? Because it's a unique model you have running.
It is. It's
Smart.
Fieldstone Real Estate Specialists, and they started the real
Okay.
estate company as a means to sell the new construction back in
Correct.
2008, and
Wow,
that's
smart.
why it was started.
Correct.
When they brought me on, that's when we kind of pivoted a little bit to make it more of the hybrid model.
That's great.
We decided to focus on growing that portion.
Well, it's a
the same as
seamless
we've grown
service
it.
for
Right.
people. So, especially for a move-up
Right.
buyer, now your agent can list and sell their home, coordinate that transaction perfectly with the build to make sure that you've got a seamless move into that new construction.
Because we
house.
do have some people that we know that they rep new construction, but they don't take backup homes. So
Right.
they'll refer those on. Like, that's the stupidest. I mean, everything you're talking about is common sense, and it doesn't exist in a lot of companies.
What it comes
You know
down
what I mean?
to is we just want to be a full service.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Yeah.
want to have to refer you out. We want the experience to stay the Fieldstone experience all the way through the process. From the moment you walk in our model till your backup home is sold and you're moving in your new one. We want to be able to touch every point of that.
But the other thing that makes us really unique as a builder is we understand that without other realtors, we can't do this. So for us, it's really bridging that gap and building that relationship with other realtors that make us successful and making sure that we can execute what is needed in the marketplace. I mean, if you think about it, we can build for 6 years at the level we're at. We still won't catch up to the demand of housing in
Right.
Minnesota.
Right. Talk a little bit about the other realtors now and what your feeling is when someone comes in with their agent and how involved do you want them in the process and what is their role
We absolutely love realtors. So we know that they have 80% of the buyers out there. Creating and maintaining those relationships to us is everything. We hear stories about people that have been cut out, people that don't pay realtors, co-op realtors, things like that. We champion them.
That's a real short-term outlook on things.
It is. It's a very short-term outlook, but for us, if somebody brings us consistent business over 5 years, we love it. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure we take good care of them, and we want to tell them that, hey, you can be as involved as you want, or we can just kind of keep you involved with all the communication.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other important aspect of that too is when the buyer comes into an open house, they may not tell people that they're working with a realtor too. Right. But if we have our first meeting after they come in and they're being looky-loos at the Parade of Homes and they tell us,
looky-loos,
and they tell us, I have a realtor. Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
Who is it? Duper. Let us communicate with them, because we love them. We will not throw them aside. We will not kick them out the door. We want them to cooperate with us and to work with us.
Because isn't there a threshold thing you've talked about on
well,
other shows,
for so
Keith,
many of them, I mean, when you're and I've sold a lot of new construction, so and repped a lot of builders, and I get it because you're in there, you're working with somebody, you're pricing, you're down to the point where you're going to write the purchase agreement. All of a sudden, someone walks in the door with his hand out, and it's like, who are you? And that gets a little clumsy sometimes, and sometimes it's good, depending on who it is, just to be gracious and say, super duper, come on in. And other times it's like, how much did you want to pay him? We'll just add it right on top.
It's not like that. We want to make sure we reinforce the decision that they've made to use a realtor in representation.
Yeah.
That to us is just important as them understanding the process of the build, and if they've made that choice, it's theirs to make.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we involve them in the transaction.
We got 48 seconds left. We got developments all over the Twin Cities, from Minnetrista to western Wisconsin. What area do you think is like the hot area? Is there one?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I just think when you can produce a package and show incredible value right now in new construction, that's the hot area.
For Fieldstone Family Homes, it's all hot.
It's all hot.
Hey,
it's all hot.
We have markets that are hotter than the others, but
I've got some questions for him. I'll ask in my segment.
Okay,
which is next.
Kelvin.
So thank
We'll
God.
head out to break.
Everybody's been waiting for Kelvin.
We'll come
Thank
back
God.
with a
Biggest
little bit more with Fieldstone Family Homes. Fieldstonefamilyhomes.com. Patty and Trent, they'll be here next segment as well. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're going to head out to break. 612-627-8000. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk. The big money segment of the program, 651-231-2500 is the number to call Kelvin and get the great rates. Get the great rates and the low cost. We're finishing up. Kelvin, what do you got?
Well, I got a bunch of stuff. One, that's a great intro for Patty and Trent earlier, like a few years ago. Now it's not as cheap. So money's a little bit more expensive.
It's all relative, Kelvin.
It's relative.
Yeah.
I don't think we're standing in the way anymore of transactions being completed, where I think for a while it was. When we're mid-sevens, hugging 8, bad credit,
bounced a lot of people out.
It did.
Or at least down.
Yep, down
into an area where there's no inventory.
How many people don't we have that you're pre-approved to buy $500,000 and now you're pre-approved to buy $400,000 and then just wondering if you could not put in that closet and save $50,000.
Right.
Perfect. Just that was tough for a while. But rates right now, I mean, we continue we're not getting the reprieve that we were hoping, which is the same thing I say every week, right? Mm-hmm. But this past week, rates moved up a little bit again. I mean, you're going to be 7. You're going to hug 7, and we'll do some things. We'll get you down a little bit lower. We can do some buy down stuff. We can do all sorts of things to help get you down. But the reality is 30-year fixed money's high 6s, low 7s based on where you're at credit-wise. And what's interesting, I had a situation this week where I was going through with a really strong credit, and they're like, man, I thought the rates would be better because my credit's so strong, and it's so this and so that. And like, no, not anymore, because they changed that. Freddie Fannie did some things
to subsidize
the lower. So it's basically take from good credit and help out low credit. So now the rates literally, if you have like a 650 score to 680, you're as good, if not a little bit better than the higher credit people because they're subsidizing because they've got
So
such
do you
a
counsel then nick it up a little bit then?
Well, I'm telling them to miss a payment
a couple
here or there,
of
not
nicks
bad.
on there and we'll be in
No,
better
I
shape.
don't. No, guys, I got to fix that too.
Yeah, right.
So it gets to be a lot. So rates are where they are, but it's not prohibiting people from making moves anymore, and it was for a while. So I like that.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about is like I did a buy down. We're doing some buy down stuff, so we're in the high fours for buy downs. But understand that it's going to be high fours and high fives and then high sixes. And the hope in all of that is that there's going to come a point in time where we're going to be able to refinance that out just into a 30-year fix, and we don't charge any lender fees. Any appraisal fee when we refinance. We have our lifetime guarantee on that. So it helps people, it calms their nerves a little bit. We're going to swap out your escrow account and stuff like that, but that's about it. So that's good. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick before I get into my questions for Patty and Trent is just on down payment assistance programs out there. We had a record this week where we have $76,000 of grant money going into a transaction.
Wow.
$76,000. It's guy in our office. It wasn't mine, right? So guy in my office, I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "God, I have this one. Can I run through it with you?" And man, you have to have the front ratio has to be certain, the back ratio, this, that. I said, well, "How many do you have?" He goes, "I have 6 grant programs stacked on top of each other, $70-some thousand that they're reducing that thing." So I just wanted to touch on some of these programs and just say, hey, I'm just going to run through them. Shoreview, Woodbury, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington. Every community has
City programs.
that we got to take, that we should at least look at.
Is there funding that runs out on those, Calvin, or does it
not-
just seem like they got an unlimited bucket of money?
Man, Minnesota is a great place to get free money.
Yeah.
So come here, live here. Trent will pay it in taxes.
That's right.
Yeah, God bless him.
That's right. Perfect. Yeah, the 1%ers, we got to get them good.
Yeah,
Right.
So you're Metro, and a lot of them, you have to be in this income bracket, right? So the area median income's a big deal. So everything has to be under that 80%. So for a household of 4, you have to make under 94,000,
Okay.
right?
Household income.
Household income.
Okay.
So not bad though. If you kind of think about it, and then some are at 60% area median income. So there's a specific box you have to fit in. But man, if you fit in that
How does
box,
that fit with the median household pricing?
Yeah.
that's a little tougher, So, and it's census tract stuff. It's like they have a map up where it says, hey, you have to buy in these areas, like Woodbury program, great program, $30,000, but you have to buy right in this slot of homes, right in this area. So there are things, but I just want people to know there's money out there. And if you got to work with a lender who knows them and understands how to stack it and do it. And like the different sizes of homes. I mean, in Dakota County, it's $365,000 is the max purchase price. So that's your starter home. Well, again, but it makes sense because that's probably going to be your price point. It's going to be probably where the income lands for these people, so they fit in the box. But man, there's a lot of money out there. So I just want people to know that we have it, we do it. I don't always talk about it,
Right.
So I just wanted to make things available there. I want to get back to Trent and Patty on my questions. So
Been waiting all show.
Yeah, all show. Well, I want to touch on first thing, lot sizes. Why is it that I can't get a nice size lot when I purchase a new home anymore?
Well,
I think we're probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
But land cost is a portion of it. Fees.
yeah.
Fees are out of control.
Yeah. That's interesting.
We hear every single day you need to produce affordable housing. But if you look at it, the amount of fees that go into a lot just to get it to developed stage where I can take it and buy a building permit for $16,000 on top of all the fees that are already in it. We've got, sometimes $70,000 into that project before we've even buried a shovel in the ground. Just fees.
Just in fees, you
Just
haven't
in
bought
fees.
the dirt yet.
Nope. They haven't bought the dirt. They haven't put in the roads. They haven't done anything. So that's why lots have to continue to get smaller because the fees continue to get larger. And if
And
you
these
take
are
a
fees from municipalities generally.
100%,
yeah.
and the building permit's at $16,000.
If the building permit's $16,000, how are you going to get a $25,000 lot? Like, you're just not.
It's gotten a little bit out of control. So if you take a 2,000 or 2,300 square foot split entry in a starter home, and you take $100,000, try to spread that over that 2,200 square feet, that's your starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to go out and buy lumber and concrete and plumbing and HVAC and all the other things you need to make that house livable.
But compare that to Wisconsin, though.
Exactly.
I mean, Minnesota and Wisconsin, we can build the same house just because of government regulatory compliance fees, $35,000 less in Wisconsin than Minnesota.
I got it. Interesting. Okay, that was my first
So
question.
Prescott's busy.
So Prescott's
Yes,
good.
Prescott's
Tell
very
me,
busy.
So I'm going to put you on the spot on a couple questions here. Favorite development right now? If you had to live in one of your developments, where would you go?
Favorites, quite a few different things, but I would say my favorite, just for the diversity of product, and is Peltier Reserve.
Okay.
We've got
Where's that
That's
located?
Inver Grove?
Inver Grove Heights. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got narrow lot single family. We've got mid lot single family. And we've got wide lot single family. We can offer
Ramblers.
everything across the board in one development there. It's 300, just over 300 lots.
Oh, wow.
We're in phase 2.
There's
and
no association in that development?
there is
There
a
is.
small one for green
Okay.
space, but not an invasive association, which
Yeah.
I would consider anyway. But yes, we can offer everything for everybody there.
And that's like Lone Oak Dot or Lone Oak Highway 3
It's west of
area?
3, yeah, by
Just
Target.
off that roundabout, right?
Yeah.
And
I've
it's
got- I've
Eagan
got-
School District,
I've
too.
got 3 minutes, so
Okay.
try now.
Sorry.
Patty, let's go. What's yours?
Wisconsin, anywhere in Wisconsin.
Really. Probably your Prescott development would be your favorite. Okay?
Yes.
Favorite floor plan you guys have?
Oh, that's a hard one. Some of our split entries are very unique
Really?
to the market. Yes, people think of traditional splits, and we've kind of turned a traditional split on its head. And people walk in and they're like, "I didn't want a split entry, but this is not a split entry."
Right, it doesn't feel like
No,
one.
exactly. So we had some tricks up our sleeve for designing the split entries, and then there's some plans that have been with us since day one, like the Cottonwood and Marquette, and some of these that just have a soft spot in my heart, I guess.
Okay. Patty, what's yours?
Canton, it's a Rambler.
Really?
And it's very efficient, it's effective, it's a good use of space, especially for people like me who don't have kids at home, but family wants to come back because the space use is so friendly.
Cool. That's great. You talked about Fieldstone experience. I wrote it down. I love certain phrases, right? So what's the Fieldstone experience?
Well, the Fieldstone experience is we want to give you the best experience possible. We say it's your home, your way, from our family to yours. Whether you're building $420,000 down in Dundas or $4 million, you're going to go through the same process. You're going to deal with us, the owners, through the entire process, and we're just really hands-on. We want to make sure that we're making building fun. We want to make sure the whole process is fun, beginning to end.
What do you think on that Fieldstone experience? If you're talking to a realtor and they're looking at joining your team, what is that experience?
I would say it's about family, it's about collaboration, working together, but being boots on the ground and part of the communities.
That's
What
great.
kind of input? We've got a minute. What kind of input do your agents give, or feedback into helping you develop product lines?
A ton. We look to them as the professionals. Each market is so different that we ask them, please go research. Bring back to me what you find. Tell me what you think is going to be the sweet spot. What's going to be our market in this area? We use collaboration every single day.
Smart.
And they're the boots on the ground,
Yeah.
right? They're at the houses. They're hearing what consumers are saying as they come in. What's the good, the bad, the ugly? And we want to hear about that.
Thanks, guys, for coming in. Patty, Trent.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
FieldstoneFamilyHomes.com. Calvin Kamick, of course, give him a call, 651-231-2500. Calvin Kamick, our mortgage guru. And this is Real Estate Chalk Talk. I'm Keith Hittner for Keith Hittner, and we'll see you next week.